going to the Chinese basketball. Kyle steps down as head coach, will remain as general manager. And it's interesting. You want to have these great Canadians who develop in this league, get opportunity in this league. But also it's a double-edged sword, Devon, because that means they leave this league at times and go elsewhere. Your reaction to the news when you heard about this opportunity for Julius was what? Players have to play well, and they have been outstanding for the Bandits thus far.
Yeah, I mean, if you're amazing opportunity here as well. We talk about opportunity. This is a great one. He's moving spots on the bench. He's moving up to the head coaching position, and he's gonna have to do it his way. He's got to be authentic to who he is, stay true to who he is, and it's gonna create a team buy-in. It's something that could potentially be very familiar, but again, it's now his team. Exactly.
One of the players that loves both of them is Tyrese Samuel, who's quite a player. So much so that he's getting some looks and opportunities to go outside of this league. We didn't even know he was going to be available to play because teams want to work him out. Well, guess what, Canada? You're in luck. He's available, and he's standing by with our Chris Wiggins.
Thanks, Donovan. Tyrese, with the departure of Kyle Julius, how has it brought this team closer together?
Brought us closer. He built the culture here, you know. I think we kind of stand by what he said. So one more energy, enthusiastic, you know, just those are the things he preaches. And I think right now we lost last game, but I think we're going to come back today with a little more vengeance, a little more focus, and we'll be ready. It's been a long 2 weeks for us not knowing what's going to happen with our team, but I think we're focused and we're ready to go today.
Yeah, you mentioned the loss to Edmonton. How do you guys bounce back today?
You know, just kind of stay focused, stay poised, you know, play within ourselves, you know, just don't worry about what's going on the other side. Don't worry about the refs. Just kind of just go out there and play hard.
Appreciate the time today. Thank you. Good luck. Donovan, back to you.
Tyrese is going to be a great litmus test for Calgary, who coming in said, one of the things I want to do better is defend in the paint. That is a stalwart of their new head coach. There's some change as well with Dave DeVero coming in, someone who's coached in Canada, internationally, and right here on these shores. I know you are Mr. Space from Scarborough, Devon, but you are an optimist. Give me some small achievable goals to steal from another show on CBC Jam that Calgary can actually focus on because they do some things well. Ruggsy Millimore is someone who can help any coach do all of those things. Some people maybe at home a little bit confused. Well, his government name is Sean, but as us Jamaicans know, we always give you a nickname. He was a rug rat as a kid, so he's known as Ruggsy. He, no matter what you call him, is standing by for Chris Wiggins.
Thank you, Donovan. Ruggsy, not the season anybody's expected for the Calgary Surge. How do you guys continue to find ways to compete?
I mean, just take it day by day, trying to treat one game at a time, and hopefully get some wins here, go on a winning streak towards the end of the season. But I'm confident. So,
lots of travel for your group this week. How do you stay sharp and come out from the jump with lots of energy?
Say that again, sorry?
Lots of travel for your group this week. How do you stay sharp and come out with a lot of energy tonight?
I mean, it's a part of being a pro. You know, you're going to travel. There's going to be longer days. You're going to travel and sometimes play on the same day. You know, can't really control that. So just try and, you know, stay the course and do what we do.
Appreciate the time. Good luck today.
Yeah,
Thank you. Donovan, back to you.
competitor. He's so big, he's so strong, so Calgary's got to do a better job of rebounding around him.
Adonis Arms with a turnaround. Jay makes it go. We're tied at 2 in the early going. Turnover by Vancouver. From range, and there is Armani Chaney. This guy is a fierce competitor. Another turnover. And now Miller Moore, they've got numbers if they hurry. A little spin move in the paint. And Javante Brown, he just couldn't hang on to it. So back-to-back errors there by Vancouver.
Well, credit Calgary for their effort early in this game, right? They're active, their hands are getting in passing lanes. You know, they're forcing turnovers, and that's what the brand of basketball that they have to play if they want to come out with a victory, right? They can't rely on half-court offense. If they can generate offense from their defense and play up the floor, they'll be in good position.
David Joplin knocks down a triple. Thank you very much. Plays his pro basketball in France. 4 years at Marquette. Michael Mulder, the former Golden State Warrior, in and out. Picked up by Ruggsy Miller-Moore. He's going to float this one ahead, maybe an ill-advised pass. And now gobbled up, and back the other way comes Vancouver in the front court here. Mulder, skies, clangs it. Looks like Vancouver a little jittery here in the early going, Javon. From the corner, Joplin can't ring it up, loose ball. And now the lead pass, trying to put it away, is Brown.
Well, that might be some of the jitters that you're talking about there, right? You get a transition like that, Tevin Brown, typically known as a shooter, but you have a wide open layup. That's when you got to convert, especially starting out as slow as you have in the early part of this game. But again, credit Calgary for playing with the energy that they have 8-2 early.
Off the inbounds, here's Chaney, or excuse me, that's Joyner, got it over the Mulder. Mulder again, second chance, he's blocked. Is coming up huge, there's Adonis Arms.
Calgary, just big-time defense to start this game. You see this big-time block, meeting Mulder at the rim.
10 seconds on the shot clock here. Tevin Brown, clutch player of the year with the Ottawa Blackjacks back in 2024. He's going to loft one up, and he rings it up.
That's good defense, but I'll tell you, that's just better offense, right? That's just Tevin Brown. His skill there is just showing 1 foot shot from the three-point line. Come on now.
5 of 10 from 3 in that loss to Edmonton in the last outing, and coming right back with the reply is Miller Moore.
And that was one of Tamara's keys to this game, just getting Miller Moore, their veteran, going early in this game, right? If he's knocking down shots like that, you know the type of athlete he is as well.
Down the lane is Tyrese Samuel with the easy lay-in.
Right, Tyrese Samuel, he's going to roll so hard to the basket. Calgary, they want to bump him earlier on the floor because, again, if he gets that basketball anywhere 2-3 feet around the paint, it's an easy bucket.
56% from the field is Tyrese Samuel. Javante Brown gets the dish over there for his man. That's David Joplin. Joyner trying to get his way down the lane, and he's fouled.
And Calgary on that last basket, just big-time interior play, touch pass under the rim. When you have unselfish play like that, it really bodes well for the flow of your team's offense.
And we talked to Coach Navarro the other day. He talked about he wanted his team to share the ball a little bit more. They've been a bit stagnant with their offense, and there's Samuel. He can do it inside, he can do it outside. Hits a tray. Here's Chaney up top. Miller Moore trying to drive, fade away, can't get the roll, and Brown's got the D-board. Brown, he's going to play in top flight basketball in Spain this upcoming fall. Here's Joyner. He's got a fast first step, lost it momentarily. Shot clock down to 10, plenty of time here. Samuel fighting against Javante Brown, makes a great adjustment and gets the deuce.
Yeah, see, that resistance has to be on Samuel's further out. Yeah, as soon as he catches the basketball, even before that, you got to be pushing him out away from that block, because if he gets it there, right, he's strong enough to just keep that dribble alive and find his way to the basket.
Ball goes out. It's going to be Calgary ball.
basket here. See, Samuel, this is what I'm talking about. Just the power to force, right? He's just driving down under the basket.
Okay, today's Western Conference game presented to you by Cal Tire. Samuel right now, he's got 5 points in this contest. Averaging 19 per game, trying to take it to the 10, and he gets fouled by Javonte Brown. So 13-12 lead here for Calgary. Off to a much better start. Samuel shooting 73% from the free throw line. Okay, time now for the keys to the game presented by CDIC. Let's start with the keys for Vancouver.
Well, if you're Vancouver, you can't play Calgary's record, right? You've got to play your own brand of basketball. You got to play up to yourself. Obviously, it's been an emotional week for this team with, Kyle Julius moving on and Rance Brempong stepping into the head coaching seat. Well, you can't be distracted by that. And then lastly, you got to play swarming defense. Got to have swarming defense. That's been a part of your identity.
Giveaway there on the inbounds. And let's see. So they're going to call it a goaltend there on Javonte Brown. Vancouver by 3. Here's Armani Chaney. Inside for Brown with the flush. Easy bucket right there for Calgary.
And we spoke to Coach DeVere about that, right? Chaney's speed is his weapon. When he can use that and get off a ball screen, or he can play and tilt that court, then you get plays like you did right there. And Brown, all he has to do is roll to the basket and look for the basketball.
Joyner missed on that attempt. Now, fast break opportunity here. Play whistle down as that was Kamba as he got fouled. Okay, these two teams added 1 point lead for Vancouver here in the first quarter over Calgary.
Welcome back to Langley Event Center. I'm Chris Wiggins. Vancouver interim head coach Ransford Brempong will take over in the big chair for the remainder of the season. Now, Rans has been a part of this organization in virtually every category. He was a player, even a broadcaster, lead assistant with this team, and now the head coach of the Vancouver Bandits. I had a chance to speak with Dwayne Notice, Bandits guard, prior to the start of today's game. He said Rans is a natural mentor, never leads with his ego, and just cares about us as human beings first. Rans has a deep history with Canadian hoops, too. Javon, I know you guys shared the floor for a number of years with the Canadian men's national team, and you even told me your mother was a big fan of Rans as well. So Mama Shep approved, right?
That she did. Rans always had swag, and you know what? Dwayne Notice hit it. He was always a mentor, always ahead of his time, and I think this is an exciting opportunity for him. And he's usually the guy that's in the background, right? Probably is more comfortable in the second seat, but a great job and a great opportunity that he's done thus far.
We had a great conversation with them the other day. Vancouver down by 1. Mulder. Parolin gives it to Givens. Givens trying to drive, high class. Kamba, he'll throw it over here. Abby Patterson out there, number 9 for Calgary. Matthew Kamba misses on the 3 attempt. 4:08 remaining here in this opening quarter. Downtown. Brown misses it. And now this is Patterson for Calgary. Nice little pocket pass and the lay-in by Javonte Brown. And that is what Coach DeVaro was talking about. Wants him to get to the rim a little bit more. We've seen it here so far in the early going of this game.
It helps when they're playing up the floor and playing with speed, right? Patterson with that empty side pick and roll, and you get that pocket pass for the layup for Brown.
There's Lloyd Pandy. Just joined this team recently, 2-time esports champion with the Carleton Ravens. Plays his club basketball for Rastavica in the Bundesliga. And Matthew Kamba, corner 3, rings it up big time.
That's where Kamba's going to be a big help for this Calgary team, this Surge team, where, you know, his ability to shoot the basketball. They haven't shot it well this season thus far, but all it takes is one guy to get in rhythm, and shooting is very contagious.
Matthew Kamba averaging 8.8 points a game. Here's Kamba trying to put it on the deck. Gives it to Patterson. Trying to get that alley-oop there with Javonte Brown. Can't connect. And now this is Mulder. Oh, nice fake by Givens. Give it and take it right to the rim.
That's great footwork. That is great footwork. I was here holding my breath saying, hey, this is going to be a travel, but no, he's just quick. He's just fast.
Slick move right there by Shamar Givens. And a throw down by Javonte Brown. He had 19 points in that loss to Saskatchewan in the last outing. Mulder from the corner, knocks it down. Michael Mulder, Windsor, Ontario native, played for John Calipari at Kentucky. 24-23, Calgary in front by 1. Down to 2 minutes in this opening quarter. Amari Chaney just turning the corner and getting the layup.
That is tough. He turned that corner, and then that layup, right, the same foot, right hand, right foot finish, but just a change of speed. And you really can't, when guys change speeds like that, it's really tough to guard them.
Off a screen, this is Mulder, excuse me, that's Brown to Parolin. Parolin doing a great job working on Javonte Brown. And when we talked to Coach Brempong, he said that Parolin might be one of the top 5 centers in this league, and that's something when you consider he's a rookie.
On that last play there, you can just see his skill level, right? Pivot, 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 great footwork, great patience.
Lloyd Pandy hitting a 3. Known for his defense, but can give you some points. And right now, it's a 2-point lead for Vancouver. Miller Moore probing now, trying to get into the paint. Puts it up, and he gets fouled. And Miller Moore will go to the line. Right to see Miller Moore averaging 18.8 points per game so far this season. Played this past season in the 2nd tier in French basketball for Evra. Miller Moore to the line here. Let's give you the keys to the game presented by CEBL. Now let's look at the Calgary Surge.
Well, they need to play in transition. They've done that early, 7 transition baskets. And again, no deep touches for Samuel. A little tough early start, right? He's an absolute load, but they have to be the team that plays with more energy the entire game, because they don't want to just get caught in the half court. They don't want to play against the depth of Vancouver. Their energy and intensity has to be the highest.
Jonathan Knight into the game, getting his first touch of the contest. Little tip right there by a Parolin, the Coquitlam, BC native. Played this past season at Boise State. Sincere carry. Matty Patterson working here on night. On the drive, the kick out. Good job there by Bugsy Miller, more to save it, or did he? No, he didn't. Tough pass, and he couldn't handle it properly.
Well, it was the right idea by Patterson, but he put a little bit too much sauce on it, right? He drove to that right hand, and that strong side help came. So if Miller Moore gets in that corner, he can kick it out. You got a really good shot there, quality shot.
20 seconds remaining here in this opening frame. Here's the man they call Spider-Man, Jarkel Joyner. Gonna take his time here. Parolin, no. Looked like he was gonna set a screen for Joyner. Joyner launches it and hits it right at the death of the clock. And Spider-Man spinning a web for Vancouver. So a great opening quarter of basketball. And Vancouver looking pretty strong here. 33-26, Bandits in front of the Surge. We're stepping away, coming back with second quarter action right here, CEBL on CBC.
Trivago.
Welcome back to Vancouver, and Lloyd Pandy, he had a real strong first quarter for Vancouver.
Yeah, he's the ultimate utility guy. You know, does a number of things around the basket, not afraid to throw around his body, and then when he's shooting the basketball from three, that adds another dimension. But you think about in that first quarter, he only played 9 minutes, had 9 points, that's a point per minute, and the 4 rebounds to go with it. But, you know, we've seen him at Carleton win a ton of basketball, a ton of championships. You know, he's really established himself in this league, even when he was younger. You know, came in as a rookie. He played like a grown man, but he does it all, right? Ultimate utility guy, ultimate winner.
4 or 5 from the field in the early going of this one. Here's Brown. He gets knocked down, and he's going to go to the line. I think he's going to shoot 3. Yes, he is.
And that's the thing with Brown. He shoots the basketball so well. Sometimes you're trying to get out there on him in urgency, and you get plays like this because you don't want to get him a clean look, and you're forced to try and just ensure that you get a hand up, ensure that you contest his shot, because if you don't, it's pretty much a bucket, right? So, you know, there's a great job by Brown getting to the three-point line, creating the space. But you gotta finish your breakfast when you get to the line. It's first and 3 there.
There's Coach Dave DeVero in a real tough spot, coming in halfway during the season. Team that was 0-7. They brought in new players. They played 3 games without even having a practice when he came on board, and that's very, very difficult for a coach.
Yeah, there's always that eerie, you know, first couple of days where it's like everybody's looking, you know, to their side and like, okay, what's next? What's happening? What's going on? But if you're Coach DeVero, like, you got to come in, win that locker room. And he was on, you know, he's an assistant, win the locker room quick and just understand, hey, guys, we're all on the same page.
On the drive, Gibbons can't put it away. On the ball, it was Dominic Parolin. 36-29 Vancouver. Vancouver 9-5 on the season going into this one. Had their 2-game winning streak snapped against Edmonton. Adonis Arms tries to skip pass. Here's Carey into the corner now. Gamba can't drain it, left it short. And now Joyner, he's got the rebound. He'll bring it into the front court. Knight. Carolyn gets it back to Joyner. Joyner, big time blow by. Can't finish though. Patterson with the board. They push it ahead. The reverse, no, off the rim. That was Adonis Arms. He couldn't convert. Trying to get inside is Joyner, yes. Little kiss off the glass.
That's speed. That is speed, right? But I'll tell you what also creates that. It's bad offense on the other end of the floor, right? You have a 2-on-1 opportunity. You got to convert that. You know, a little selfish play, and then now Joyner on the other end just uses speed, gets to the basket, easier layup.
So Vancouver in front 38-29. Spider-Man getting it done on the inside.
Welcome back to Langley Event Center. The Vancouver Bandits up 9 so far on the Calgary Surge. Now, staple in the city of Calgary and with the Calgary Surge, of course, is Captain Sean Rugsy Miller-Moore. I had a chance to talk to Rugsy pregame. I said, what's next for you despite this crazy season you guys are enduring right now? Rugsy said, I'm not really sure quite yet. And I said, what about coaching? Are you ready for coaching yet? He said, I got a lot of years left, not ready for coaching. But when I do finally get over basketball is going to be done. I'm not going to continue to play basketball. When I'm done with basketball, I'm done with basketball. And so I don't blame them, guys. I don't know if I could sit on the bench after playing so many years and try to be a coach. I'd want to get back out there. What do you think?
Well, what I think is this guy has been just a sterling example of what this league is all about, developing young Canadian players, and he's just been a godsend for this league.
Yeah, I remember his first year with the Guelph Nighthawks. And, you know, he's done it the right way, right? That first year, I remember him playing spot minutes, and every time he got into the game, he showed flashes of what he could do, playing above the rim, exciting, fun to watch. But now you talk about what he's been able to accomplish over the last few years, right? And just seeing his game grow and develop, seeing him become a leader and a veteran, it's been pretty nice to see.
Gives a lot of credit to a good friend of ours, Charles Kissy, for giving him some confidence in becoming a pro. And they whistle that one down. I believe it's going to be a travel there against David Joplin. 38-32 in favor of Vancouver. So Pandy's going to check into the game here. There you see Rugsy Miller-Moore. And take a look at this. All-time minutes leaders, regular season and playoffs. Look at that. That is amazing. That is consistency.
I can see why coaching is not on his mind right now. He still has so much basketball. He's played a lot, and there's so much more to go.
He's only 5 years into his pro career. He's got more ball to play. Step back here now for Brown. Can't connect on that one. Patterson on the drive. Initiates some contact there with Samuel. Stays with it, gets the deuce. Patterson went into this game averaging 10.7 points per game. Played last season in Eastern Michigan. On the drive here. And there you see, or here, Tevin Brown saying no. Just missed out on getting that three-point opportunity.
Great job by him too, right? He knows that, you know, guys are trying to run him off the three-point line, and then now as soon as he catches it there, he's putting the basketball on the floor and showing you a bit of his handle getting to the basket.
He's looked very comfortable coming on. He's only played a couple of games with this team. Cal Tire, proud partner and tire expert of the CEBL. Shop top tire brands and have peace of mind with Cal Tire's match guarantee. Shop and book at caltire.com. He's going to play top flight basketball this season in Spain with Rio Brigant. Michael Mulder will come back in. He hasn't played any ball the last 2 years. Took some time off, had a chance to talk to him last week. Need to concentrate on some other things in his life, but he says he and his agent, they got some things cooked up for the fall and the winter.
I think sometimes that's the part that we forget, right? You see these guys, they compete at such a high level, elite athletes, exceptional athletes, and you forget they're still human, right? There's life outside of basketball sometimes.
Mulder's done a great job coming off the bench for this Vancouver team. Here's Joplin. Joplin, he'll kick it back out. Gary has to readjust a little bit, trying to get a step on Mulder. Shot clock down to 3, baseline Jay. No, can't get the roll. And now pushing the pace here, this is Lloyd Pandy, trying to go coast to coast. Left it short, gets knocked down. He'll go to the charity stripe.
Good push by Pandy there. You recognize that, okay, you have the basketball in transition. Nobody's stepping up. Nobody's trying to stop you. Okay, continue to get yourself to the basket. Right, that's the awareness here. He shouldn't be able to get to the free throw line, you know, for a layup like you see here, right? Somebody's got to stop him higher up on the floor. And that's where, you know, transition defense is so important.
CEBL Defender of the Year in 2024. And there you see Lloyd Pandy, won a couple of U-Sport titles at Carleton. He's noted for his defense, and this Vancouver team, if you can't play defense, you don't play, not playing.
And I'll tell you this much, when I was general manager of the Ottawa Blackjacks, Lloyd Pandy was one of the first players I tried to sign, right? Because of his just guys that have winning fabric, utility guys, you know they can play in any system. I was looking at him before I even knew who a coach was going to be.
Right. You see Javante Brown with a throw down. As a matter of fact, he was the first player that former head coach Kyle Julius tried to recruit for this team. Fade away by Joyner. Carey brings it into the front court. Dump down low. Here's a little bit of a mismatch. Well, not really. Shot off the iron. Knight tries to track it down, kept in play. Good job there by Knight. Here's Mulder to the 10. Little kiss off the glass.
And again, right, transition offense for Vancouver, right? Mulder gets himself from baseline to baseline, and nobody really stops him, no resistance there.
Arms tried to spin, baseline, push shot there by Brown. And he's getting the foul here. It's going to go against Vancouver.
Here getting a roll, right? As soon as he sets good screens, that paint is wide open for him above the rim. Here you get it, pass, bingo!
And that's what Coach DeVero wants to see more of. So it's going to be a foul against Tyrese Samuel as he argues his case here. 5:07 left in the second. Okay, your seat is waiting for you to catch every game live from Winsport Event Center. Get your tickets at calgarysearch.ca/tickets or by scanning the QR code right there. And this Vancouver team, this Calgary team, they've been doing a lot of traveling of late. They'd like to get back to Winsport, get feeling at home. And there you see Coach Brempong What stood out for you in our conversation with him the other day, Javon?
Oh, just his poise, man, and it just seems like the same person in, you know, philosophies that he carried as a player, he still has them as a coach, right? He hasn't deviated from that at all. So I'm interested to see how he's going to do in this seat now where, you know, you're first in the chair, where you've got to be the guy that can rile up the locker room as well, right? As much as you got to be the guy that's going to, you know, understand everybody and trying to bridge, you know, when there's adversity. So I think he has it. You know, I think this is a tremendous opportunity for him. And I also think, right, sometimes, you know, guys like that, they need that push into this challenge, right? Because he's so comfortable being the guy in the back and, you know, being the mentor, being the, you know, that voice of reason. But he possesses so much knowledge and he's played so many years and coached so many years in this game, right? This is the perfect time for him to get his team.
Joplin can't convert. Let's set it down now to Chris.
Peter, I was listening in on the Vancouver Bandits timeout, interim head coach Ransford Brempong saying, it doesn't matter what we do offensively if we can't get stops on defense. That's been the challenge for this team all season long defensively. Let's see if they turn things around here mid-second quarter. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Chris. Yeah, this Vancouver team, they hang their hat on defense. And when we talked to Coach, I mean, he said, you've got to be able to be a two-way player with this Vancouver team. You've got to be able to play at pace, but in control. And you have to be selfless. You have to accept the role that's put in front of you. And the one thing that you hear a lot from these players is that, you know, whatever the role coach wants me to do, I'm going to do it. And that's why they've been successful. Here's Carey from downtown. That's in and out. Pandy with a rebound. Mulder from downtown. That was definitely in and out. That was almost halfway down the cylinder. And then Calgary, they almost turned it over. They kept it in play. Miller Moore. He's got in his bag of tricks here now. Looking for an option, plays it up top. Addy Patterson. Miller Moore now trying to take on Pandy. Shot clock down to 1. Can't get it. Vancouver secures it. Here's Pandy now, right down Main Street. Finds the open man in Gibbons. On the drive, Samuel. And he gets violent at the rim. Hey. He was trying to yank that rim down. Turnover by Calgary. Pandy, Joyner. Left the rebound short. Can't get the follow. Another opportunity here. Here's Mulder. This time they put it away.
See, you know, Calgary's in the timeout here. That was bad because that, again, transition defense. Vancouver pushed that basketball. After that big play by Samuels, they forced a turnover. They pushed the basketball. That shot clock got down to 11 seconds before any of those white shirts were in the frame. You had two players under the basket trying to fight, and the rest were looking on, right? You've got to have that energy. You got to have that assertiveness and that awareness that you got to get back. Here, Samuels, that right to left crossover, 2 feet, flat-footed punch. Oh! He just moved Brown out of the way there.
Yeah, and Javonte Brown is not a little man. He just got mean and physical.
And then, you know, and this is, you look at this, like, where are the players? Right, Calgary's got to get in the frame. You got 2 players here. The shot clock's still winding down. Time's still going off the clock. You have an opportunity to, you know, a touch pass to Mulder under the basket for 2. But, you know, they've got to have that urgency, that sense of urgency, especially being a team that they haven't won many games this season. So you should be playing from a place of desperation right now. And that can't be coming from Coach DeVero. That's got to be the guys in that locker room, the guys on that bench. Yeah.
Follow CEBL League on all social platforms, social media platforms. Stay up to date on storylines, standouts, stats, and more for all 10 teams in Canada's Pro Basketball League. And when we talked to Coach DeVero, he said we have to protect the paint. And that was a prime example of not protecting the paint. And right now it's a 45-36 lead in favor of Vancouver. Coach DeVero, this man has got a very impressive CV. Coached a lot of youth sports, currently the head coach at TMU, McGill, head coach of the University of Ottawa, coached the Blackjacks in the CEBL. Dead center 3 attempt for Cheney, can't get it. Ball secured by Pandy. Pandy trying to turn the corner here on Cheney. Little blow by is good, gets the deuce. Boy, Pandy showing you his offensive skills here. Patterson, 1v1 with Gibbons, shoots over top of him, hits it big, and Calgary, they needed that. Calgary 7 of 14 from the field so far in this one. Pandy can't get it to the 10. Here's Samuel, shoots over top of Javante Brown. That's an air ball. And then Calgary, they give it away again. Samuel tried to force a pass. That was a kick ball. Again, another unforced error by this Calgary team. They're shooting themselves in the foot.
In Calgary right now, you got to huddle up, right? Somebody's got to pull these guys together and say, like, this is just unacceptable play. The last 2-3 minutes, they thought they started the game really well, you know, playing with pace, playing with, you know, being intentional, a little bit more deliberate. But these last 3 right now, it almost seems like they're just falling apart.
Let's send it over to Chris now. Was Coach Devereaux, was he losing his mind in that huddle?
Yeah, wasn't very happy in that last huddle, knocking his team's effort defensively, saying Vancouver got 3 putbacks in that one possession a few moments ago, and it's unacceptable. We see some sloppy play continuing here from the Calgary Surge.
On the drive, this is Joyner. I mean, he slicks through that defense like a hot knife through butter. Here's Javante Brown. That's an easy lay-in for him. Now, having said that, look at this. Calgary's only down, stuck 8.
It's still a game. It's still a game.
Here's Joyner. Joyner again. That's in and out. Samuel. From the corner, Gibbons can't bring it up. They still have another chance here. Pandy looking for an option. Mulder wants to drive. The floater, no, off the target. Arms with the rebound here for Calgary. David Joplin pulls up, back iron, floated out, second chance opportunity, fresh 14. And right there, Armani Chaney hits it big.
That's the best shot in the game, right? You get an offensive rebound, it gets tapped out, right? Everybody's in the paint, you know, trying to rebound and trying to box out, and Chaney just gets a rhythm walking 3.
Played pro basketball this past season in both Mexico and Turkey. Here's the 3 from Chaney.
And that combo with the big-time tap-out, Chaney just walks into it, right? And again, I talked about, you know, one of the keys for Calgary, for the Surge, and playing with effort, right? Playing with energy. It's plays like those, right? You're in a 5-point game right now, and a big part of that was, you know, combo, right? That extra effort, that second effort, getting up in the air. You can't get the basketball, so I'm going to get a tap-out and get it to a teammate who's going to get the shot.
After Tennessee State, Chaney decided to take 4 years off of basketball, thought his career was done, was working at UPS. Then he went to the Basketball Super League, played for St. John's, averaged 30 points a game. After 4 years off, was the MVP of that league. And since that time, he's just had a phenomenal pro career. As you take a look at Armani Chaney, he was cut at the beginning of the season by Winnipeg, so he's a player that plays with a chip on his shoulder, if you talk to people out there. Okay, here is Chris Wiggins with more on Armani Chaney.
Yeah, Armani started the season with the Winnipeg Sea Bears in the middle of June, on June 12th. Winnipeg and Calgary had a home and home on June 12th and June 14th. Winnipeg won both. On the way back to Winnipeg, he got released. Then Calgary picked him up. He missed his flight to Calgary, had to buy his own flight. On June 17th, he finally landed. I had a tip-off in Calgary and helped Calgary secure their first win of the season by hitting a target score time game winner. So it's a crazy couple of weeks here for Armani Chaney, guys.
The life of a pro, huh? Right now, he's got 8 points in this contest, and he's 2 of 4 from 3. Shamar Gibbons gets it over here for Brown. Gibbons up top again, trying to dance on his man. 7 on the shot clock. Gibbons can't knock down the 3. Joplin with a rebound for Calgary.
Good job by Calgary stopping the penetration, right? And what happens is you're able to match back up and contest a shot.
That's in and out from Chaney. 8 seconds remaining here in this second corner. Spider-Man, let's see what kind of web he can spin here. Joyner. Samuel trying to set a screen for him. Here's Joyner on the drive. Oh, sweet dish. Can't finish. Samuel right there. He got a couple of cracks at it. And now Matthew Kamba. He'll take it back the other way and threw that one away. They tried the alley and the oop. There was no oop
at all, right? And you want to convert those ones. You work so hard, you know, on the defensive end of the floor. We got to give them some credit, Coach, you know, DeVero as well, right? Before that last timeout, we kind of ripped into them a bit. Well, the last 2 minutes, right, the effort has been there, and they're doing a better job of stopping penetrations.
This will be the last action of the first half. Here's Joyner from downtown, left it short. Another chance, can they get the shot off? No, as that was Brown, and he couldn't connect on that one. But Vancouver dominated, but as you said, Javon, Calgary, as bad as they have played, and as much as they've turned the ball over, they're still in this contest.
Well, they've had moments, they've had minutes where the effort has been high, right? And I think what's also helped them is they've shot the basketball well from the three-point line, 8 for 14, and that's typically hasn't been their game over the season, so that 3 balls kept them in, but also those moments of effort where you see what has worked well for you, right, you continue to do that.
Okay, let's send it over now to Chris Wiggins with the former Defensive Player of the Year in the CEBL, Lloyd Pandy.
Lloyd, with the departure of Kyle Julius this morning, how are you guys continuing the culture in the room?
We're just trying to build on his legacy, even though he's not here with us currently, but at the end of the day, he led the foundation for us to keep going in his path, and we're just trying to make him proud and make the organization and the fans proud by showing that we're not going to have a letdown even though he's not here.
A few breakdowns for you guys defensively. How are you adjusting in the second half?
You know, things are still a little bit quite new, but we're still trying our best to make sure that those mistakes aren't repetitive. And at the end of the day, we know what we have to do in order to win. So that's really the game.
Appreciate the time. Good luck in the second half. Thank you. There is Lloyd Pandy. Guys, Peter, back to you.
Thank you very much, Chris. Lloyd Pandy doing a great job at both ends of the court. And right now, Vancouver, they've got themselves a 49-44 lead over the Calgary Surge. We'll step away. We'll head to Donovan Bennett and our studio crew right after this. CEBL on CBC. More coming your way next.
Welcome back to the CEBL on CBC, where we've seen some grown man moves. And we've seen a lot of exciting action. I said it was going to be a track meet like the Prefontaine Classic. It has been fast, certainly, 93 points. Hasn't been a classic at times, but it has been exciting. Surprisingly, though, it was the veteran team, Vancouver, with the sloppy start, and Calgary taking advantage.
Yeah, that early sloppy turnovers by Vancouver to start the game really got Calgary's confidence going. It's great for Calgary because it keeps them confident early. Those early turnovers, they only had 3 in this game so far for Vancouver, but it keeps Calgary in the game. It keeps them confident, it keeps them going, it keeps them attacking the rim. And again, it keeps them right there with with Vancouver.
Yeah, a little uncharacteristic of Vancouver, right? And you got to think about the emotional week that they've had. New coaches, Rance in the head coaching seat, and no longer having Kyle Julius, and guys thinking, okay, I got to showcase my talents now, and I'm going to get a little bit more minutes. So once you settle in, then that team will look a little bit more like themselves.
Well, Coach Rance, when we think about what are the X's and O's going to be, it helps when the Jimmies and Joes are pretty good. And he's got a good one in Tyrese, who he would scream baby food at to go in the paint. Well, belly full so far.
Yeah, I mean, you look at how he's playing, he's doing a bit of everything, right? You're talking about belly full. Yeah, he eats everything in front of him, right? And everything that steps in front of him right now.
So like you?
Get out of here, man. You don't know what you're talking about. Anybody that steps in front of him, he's showing you the outside game, the three-point game. He's showing you inside. Right, and I just like this, just the bully ball. We, in 2026, we don't really see, guys play the post game a lot, but this guy right here, right, he's not afraid to bang, he's not afraid to mix it up, showing you his handle a bit as well, that right to left crossover, there's 2-foot, flat-footed punching it. But, he was the CEBL Player of the Year last year for a reason, and you're seeing it on display early in this game, right, just aggressive, and he understands, okay, they're going to establish him early, they're going to get him to basketball, and he delivers, right? So you can't take anything away from him.
And it's not just him. The points on the paint were all across the board when it came to Vancouver.
Yeah, I think a part of that also was Calgary's lack of defense, because some of those came in transition as well, where they really weren't picking up the basketball and guys were just getting downhill and they're doing what they wanted around the basket. But then, Vancouver's a very physical team, right? And from position 1 through 5, they have size, they have length, they play with force. And if you allow that basketball to get below the three-point line, right, these guys are going to score at an efficient, high rate, and that we've seen in the first half. So, Calgary's got to do a better job of not only just playing in the post and, gang defense when the ball gets to the block, but the guys on the perimeter, right, you got to stop them. You can't allow them to penetrate and get where they want. In transition, you got to stop the basketball early so you can be a little bit more disruptive, because if these guys get the basketball around the rim, they're just too good. They're going to score at will.
Tamara, Coach Devereaux, there's no trade deadline in the CEBL. You can't change the X's and O's. How about some of the effort that can we see maybe to change some of these things?
Again, Calgary's in this game, so as long as they keep up with staying well in the paint, that'll help them stay in this game. But again, that effort, rebounding the basketball, getting to the rim, doing those small, tangible things will keep them in the game, but hopefully, who knows, maybe it'll get them a win at the end.
Yeah, well, we shall see. I mean, listen, with a target score, you never know what's going to happen. That's why the CEBL is so exciting. That's why you got to stay with us. Second half coming up after this break. Can Calgary clean up some of those intangibles? Javon and company will have the call if he's not eating.
The world is coming to
This is why I love the CEBL, celebrating our country, our culture, our heritage. Shout out to Tagwan Hade, who is giving us the dancing, the music, the vibes. It is Indigenous Heritage Day in Langley. Indigenous Heritage Month just passed, but we continue to celebrate in the CEBL. I love it. And if you love the CEBL, and if you can tolerate a little bit more of me, guess what? We've got more great content. Look at that guy. For you online on YouTube every week. Comes out on Friday. I talk to the stars of the league, like Ruggsy Miller-Moore and Tyrese Samuel. You can watch on YouTube new episodes every Friday, highlights, analysis, and yeah, you gotta talk to me. But trust me, it's outstanding. We got more outstanding action for you after the break. Stay tuned. It is the CEBL on CBC. Strong finish.
Two on home court so far this season. We'll bring you inside and let's get to the CIDC keys to the game for Vancouver. And Javon, good first half for this Bandits team under their new head coach.
Yeah, they've had moments where they've really dominated inside 30 points in the paint, and I think the key is, listen, you can't play Calgary's record, and obviously you touch on an emotional week. That can't be a distraction. Swarming defense, right? They forced Calgary into 7 turnovers. Now they've got to do a better job of defending that three-point line of Calgary.
And here's the Calgary keys to the game.
Again, you look at the fast breaks right now, 10-10. They need to continue to play in transition. They started the game doing that. They end that last, second quarter doing it. Well, you got to start the third and the fourth just playing fast. Tilt that court in your favor, right? And no deep touches for Samuel, 11 points for him. He's done it inside and outside, but I think there's got to be a little bit more resistance on him early, pushing him out, because if he gets it down low, those broad shoulders, he goes right through the rim. High energy the entire game. When Calgary has played with really good energy, they've had the ability to control the game. So you need more of that, from the start of this third quarter, all the way through target time.
Joplin, Cheney, Patterson, all 3 of those gentlemen have 8 points each for Dave DeBarro and the Calgary Surge. Tyrese Samuel, he's had a great game so far for Vancouver. Samuel, he's 4 for 7 from the field. He's got 11 points. And he's one for 2 from three-point range. And right off the hop, a foul here against Joyner. And boy, Joyner, when he gets that first step on you, he is just so deadly.
Blur. He's an absolute blur.
And chance to talk to our friend Ryan Schmidt, who coached Hamilton to a CEBL title. And he said he had Joyner with College Park in the G League. He also coached Dwayne Notice, who's on the bench right now for Vancouver. 2 guys that he enjoyed coaching, fierce competitors. And Joyner we're seeing him take over this Vancouver team here at the point. The rebound brought down. Here's Brown now, lines it up. Can't put it away. Ball floated ahead here. Miller Moore, Donis Arms. Brown trying to contain him. They swing it. Cheney from downtown. Left that one a little short. Vancouver, 49, Calgary 44. And get right to the rim as Tyrese Samuel using some physicality to get the bucket.
Samuel gets that basket, but again, where it starts from is Mulder getting the penetration. If you stop that penetration, now Samuel doesn't get that roll to the basket, get that drive. Brown has to step up and help, and now it's just Samuel in the basket.
32 paint points here for Vancouver. We talked about that with Dave DeBarro. He wanted better defense inside the paint. This is Javonte Brown, turnaround, tried to float it, missed it. They get the offensive rebound. Joplin, he can't make it at the end of the shot clock. And now Lloyd Pandy's gonna push the pace, looking to go coast to coast. And he's fouled by Arms, and Pandy, he goes down, and he's got his hands on that left ankle. And for this Vancouver team, they can't afford to lose him. Contact there from Adonis Arms. Pandy to the line here now for Vancouver. Lloyd Pandy shooting 50% from the free throw line. I know he'd like to improve those numbers. Had a real good first half here for Vancouver. And makes the second. 52-44. Right now, Ruggsy Miller-Moore, he just has 3 points in this game. They're going to need to get some offense from him. Here's Miller-Moore. On the drive. Window shopping right there.
You called it, right? Did a good job there in that ball screen. Keeping the dribble alive, and Brown sent that Gortat screen where Miller-Moore could just find his way to the basket.
Brown gets tagged with a foul there. Got a little too aggressive with Brown.
Here, Ruggsy using the ball screen. Look at this roll here. Brown's going to set another screen where Ruggsy can just snake his way to the basket. Ruggsy's going to get 2 right there. But really, Brown is the one that creates that opportunity, the 2 points for him.
So Miller Moore now with 5 points. Is Tyrese Samuel misses the first of 2. Vancouver team, they had a 2-game winning streak. That got snapped as they lost to Edmonton in a heavyweight tilt, 94-93. And Samuel goes, oh my God, he missed the second free throw.
Well, the entire team, they've struggled from the free throw line today. It's 5 for 11.
Miller Moore, big slide. Oh, the reverse. That is a slick play by Ruggsy.
He must have heard you call his name. He must have heard you say his name. Want to see some buckets from Miller Moore. Well, he's got it going now.
52-48, Vancouver in front. Here's Mulder up top, wants a screen. Dead center 3 attempt, no good. Brought down by Adonis Arms. This game has flown by. The pace is just unbelievable. Swung over here. Ruggsy Miller Moore, the floater. Can't make that. Brown tried to push it up the court, and that goes off Adonis Arms.
Here you get Ruggsy getting to the basket, just crafty here. Great footwork, up and under, finishes with that left hand, calling for the foul, a bit of everything. Little DHO. Just that shot fake gets Samuel in the ear, and little nice little left, gets off the glass.
That's the Cal Tire Cruise of the game. And Ruggsy, they're gonna need, or at least Calgary's gonna need a lot of 0-0 here in the second half. Samuel, he's had his way with Brown here today. Samuel gets physical, trying to back down Brown. He gets the rebound. Tyrese tries to go up and loses the handle. It's going to be Calgary ball. That's been a very interesting battle. Tyrese Samuel and Javonte Brown. Miller Moore tight ropes that baseline. Joplin can't knock down the 3. Offensive rebound for Brown, and then Ruggsy with the putback.
Well, Ruggsy's come alive, but also as Brown has as well, right? He comes up with that offensive board there, kicks it out, and, you know, Ruggsy just delivering, right? He's the veteran on this team. Great kick out. Nice little finish. Ruggsy, tough lane.
Sean Miller Moore heating up here in the second quarter.
Welcome back to Langley Event Center. We got a 2-point game halfway through the third quarter. As I mentioned earlier, Ruggsy Miller Moore, the Calgary Surge, doesn't know what he's doing next season, hopefully playing overseas. But he did tell me he's working on obtaining his Jamaican citizenship to hopefully represent the national team down in Jamaica. So would love to see that come to fruition for Rugsy. Guys, back to you.
Very much, Chris. And Jamaica playing Canada tomorrow in a World Cup qualifier in Hamilton. Good turnout on Friday for a World Cup qualifier that Canada won. Here in this one, 6:14 remaining in the third. Calgary, they've fought back in this contest. Brown, he can't launch a three. Carolyn comes into the game on the drive, off the glass and in. Dom Carolyn. Hard to believe that he's a first-year pro. Kamba, they move it around. Here's Rugsy in a post-up. Miller Moore, juke and jive in. That's the fadeaway short, and that's going to be Vancouver ball. Matthew Kamba into the game. Part of those two big championship teams in Edmonton in 2020, 2021. Remains small. He had two outstanding juggernaut-like teams in those seasons. Here's the blow by Gibbons. Turn the corner, gets the bucket. Six-point lead for Vancouver. Cheney wants to come back and reply. Joplin on the inside. Can't get it to go. And that ball just eludes Michael Mulder. And a turnover for Vancouver. Here's this bucket by Gibbons.
So crafty, right? Look at where he gets Brown on his backside, protects himself, and just extends at the rim.
And Gibbons and Jarkel Joyner, they're like a couple of human F1 cars out there. Miller Moore probing on the outside. Thought about jacking up the free throw jumper. Miller Moore again, shot clock down to 8. And that's stolen right there by guess who? Lloyd Pandy. And Pandy gets the theft, gets the deuce. And that's Lloyd Pandy's game right there.
You know, that's his game, and credit him for just, you know, his timing, his defense, just a little bit too much isolation ball by Calgary there, and the little tip, and the little defense to offense.
So an 8-point lead here for Vancouver. Here's the theft.
Pandy, this is the easy part here, right? You can see it just casually laying it up. But Vancouver doing it on the other end. And what they're doing right now, a lot of the one-on-one play, a lot of isolation play, they're just playing it below the three-point line and just forcing, you know, Calgary to take tough shots off of the bounce, right? They've shot the basketball well early in the first half, but the quality of these shots that you're seeing, or these attempts after 2, 3, 4, 5 dribbles, right, that percentage and probability goes down.
Let's send it now to Chris Wiggins. Got a little story on Shamar Gibbons of the Vancouver Bandits.
Guys, we're here covering a basketball game today, but we need to acknowledge the incredible run from Team Canada at this year's World Cup. And I bring that up because Bandits guard Shamar Gibbons and Canadian midfielder Tajon Buchanan grew up together as friends and basketball teammates at McCrimmon Middle School in Brampton. Both left at the age of 15 and 16 to chase their respective dreams in the United States. There you see the two in the front row there holding the plaque. Shamar told me pregame he tries to keep in touch with Tajon as best as he can, and made an effort to watch Canada's World Cup games. Guys, he even told me that he and Tajon were the fastest middle schoolers of all time, and we've seen that speed here today as well.
That's no shock coming from Gibbons.
Not hard to believe.
And Tajon, he's got wheels as well. Great job by the Canadian men's national team. First time they ever got to a knockout stage at a World Cup. And the future looks bright for both Canadian basketball and Canadian soccer.
You know what? For Canadian soccer, that was through a ton of adversity, a ton of injuries as well. So, you know, you got to commend the entire, you know, team, staff, and Canada showed out. Canada came out, they supported us. Great run for them.
I'll tell you who's showing up. It's Lloyd Pandy. Mr. Defense has become Mr. Offense here in this game. 8-point lead for Vancouver. And Eddie Patterson knocks down the shot. He's going to go to the line.
chuckling there. You can see the smirk on his face because he knows he pushed off there. You can see the extension, but great concentration on this one. Whoop, little arm, ref don't see it. I might get balanced, make a shot.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Addy Patterson, another first-year pro. With each and every game has improved. Same thing with Parolin for Vancouver. So now it's a 5-point lead here for Vancouver. Gibbons getting some extended time here. Joyner's on the bench for Vancouver. Gibbons, step back for three. Left it short. Lead pass here. Kamba makes the adjustment, lays it in. And Calgary, they're not going anywhere. Here's Mulder. He'll take his time trying to get it into the post there. In a post-up situation with Parolin. And that was a kick ball. Here's Gibbons. Parolin up top, a handoff to Mulder. Mulder, the floater, missed that one severely. Swanton Roger into the game, number 35 for Calgary. Miller Moore, all kinds of time, lines it up, drains it.
Tie game. We got a game.
It's even.
We got a game. When Calgary's playing with pace offensively, they just look so much better. They look so much more fluid. Before that last read by Miller Moore, he did a good job of getting a defensive rebound and just advancing the basketball up the floor to Kamba for two.
Gibbons on the drive. Oh, big block there by Matthew Kamba. You've got two of the best defensive players at the guard position in Kamba and Pandy in this league.
You know, this play right here, right? Kamba, like strong body, meet Gibbons at the rim, and then Miller Moore, right? Defense goes under the screen, Cardinal sitting. You know, you have all the time in the world to knock this down.
So despite the turnovers, this Calgary team, they're in this one. We're tied at 60 apiece. From downtown, Joyner missed that one at the death of the shot clock. Here's Carey. He'll bring it into the front court. Miller Moore, he's been feeling it of late. He knew right off the bat that that one wasn't getting to the bucket.
No, he thought about it, right? But he came off of that screen to that left elbow. Samuel was in this drop coverage, but he was just thinking too long, that 1, 2, 3 seconds, and then that shot isn't, you don't have that same energy coming up into your shot.
Jonathan Knight, number 0, has got the ball in his hands right now. Started his pro career in Norway. Here's Tevin Brown. He'll orchestrate things now. Samuel sets a screen. They try to get the pick and roll going. Didn't materialize. Loose ball. Swanton Rogers got the rebound. Good hustle there from the Calgary native. Patterson. Probing. Wants to drive and can't. Samuel there defensively. Turnover by Calgary. Up here now for Joyner. Joyner sets himself. Left is short. Gets his own rebound. Here's Brown. Little sidestep. And he puts it away. Laces a three. Vancouver 6 of 23 from beyond the arc. Moore. Patterson tried to turn the corner and couldn't. 5 on the shot clock. Miller Moore shoots over top of his man. Again, missed the target. Samuel working on Swanton Roger. A little bit of a mismatch there. From the corner, Parolin, no good. And the rebound, it goes to Carey. He pushes the pace. Kamba looking for 3, in and out. Pace is picked up here at the Langley Event Center.
Well, Samuel should touch this basketball on this play here.
Brown can't bring it up.
Teams are going up and down and just firing off threes. If you're Vancouver, you have Samuel as that type of threat. Right, let's slow it down, get into the block, and let him work, or play from him.
Both teams trying to rely on the 3 a little bit too much.
You guys are getting fatigued, right? So you're not thinking the game as much.
Miller Moore turns it over. Here's Joyner. He's got Brown with him, takes it himself, gets the layup. And again, another Calgary miscue. It was tied, and now Vancouver, they got a 5-point lead. 13 seconds remaining in this third quarter. And a little bit of a reach-in foul by Joyner, and he's none too pleased.
Here you get the defense. You look at the bodies. Miller Moore dribbling a little too much. Now you get the kick out to Joyner, who makes a nice little lay. But again, playing, you know, what's in front of you, right? Miller Moore putting the basketball on the floor. A little bit too much dribble. You have one defender away, you know, coming in and plugging those driving lanes. And what happens? You get a hand on the basketball and you go from defense to offense.
There's Jonathan Knight that got the strip there for Vancouver. There you see Sincere Carey. Brought in to give this team, this Calgary team, some toughness in the backcourt. Played pro in Bosnia, Croatia, Germany, and Greece. Joyner. And that ball went out of bounds. It's going to be Calgary ball, no, Vancouver ball, excuse me. It's going to be a foul on Carey. 2 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Winner has to think fast here on the inbounds. Here's Samuel to get the shot off. He did, but that rimmed out. So 3 quarters in the books, and Vancouver up by 5. And this Calgary team, they must have 9 lives, because they go through stretches where they look like a juggernaut, and then they turn the ball over a little too much. But they're still in this one. Fourth quarter is coming your way. Surge stuck 5. Buddy, to the Langley Event Center. Time for the Red Path to the playoff update, and here's how things are shaping up in both the East and the West. You see the West right there. It's going to be a dogfight between Vancouver and Winnipeg. Edmonton's playing better. Saskatoon is playing much better. And then in the East, you've got Scarborough. Scarborough just running away with it.
They're running away with that, and they've got to have their sights set on, you know, home court advantage throughout. If you're in the Western Conference, things are so jumbled up outside of Calgary, right? It's going to be a dogfight down the stretch, and that's the interesting about this league. It's so transient, right? Like, you have to have 3 different teams, and you really never know who's going to get hot at what point in the season.
When we talked to Coach Rempong, he said, hey, anybody can beat anybody on any given day, and there's a block right there from Adonis Arms, as trying to launch a free from the corner was Boulder. Samuel on the inbounds here. Brown being watched there by Kamba. Carolyn. Big man against big man. Parolin, his hook shot over the top of Brown. He can't connect there. Adonis Arms. This is Patterson. He'll rise up, and he drains a three.
That's good offense, right? Patterson, his defender is that help defender. He's spacing the floor, gets that kick out, you know, has time to make that shot.
And Joyner comes right back and replies for Vancouver. One thing that we saw in that third quarter, a little bit too much hero ball from both teams, right?
Too much isolation. We had about a 2-minute stretch where both teams were just playing one-on-one and jacking up threes.
Gary, oh, good feed on the inside. It looked like Brown was going to get the block on Javonte Brown. Tevin Brown on Javonte Brown. Get my Browns all mixed up. 67-65 in favor of Vancouver. Jonathan Knight done a great job coming off the bench. Curse of the play-by-play man. He turns it over. Addy Patterson couldn't get to the bucket. He's fouled. And here's the bucket from Javonte Brown. Javonte Brown, he had 19 points in that last loss to Saskatoon the other night. Canada's Pro Basketball League is back for season number 8. Catch every dunk, three-pointer, and target score winner live this summer from coast to coast on CBC Gem. Peter Ruckhazer, Javon Shepard, Chris Wiggins, Donovan Bennett in our studio. And there you see Coach Grempong. He's got a look of concern on his face because this Calgary team, they're sticking around. Tied at 67 apiece. Joyner. A little bit of an up fake there. Shot clock down to 9 on the drive. And one. Jarkel Joyner. Coach Brempong sat him down for a little bit in that third quarter. Joyner wasn't too pleased. He comes right back and responds.
He's just so fast. As soon as you think you have him under control, he just changes speed like you see here, right? This little freeze on Brown and whoop, beep, beep. He's at the rim, right? As soon as you blink, he's there.
Let's send it over now to Chris Wiggins. He's got more on Jarkel.
Put on his recruiting hat this offseason. Tyrese and Jarkel Joyner were teammates this past season with the Raptors 905 in Mississauga. Joyner was on Kyle Julius's radar, but he wanted to go home and enjoy his summer in Mississippi with his family. Tyrese kept texting and texting and texting and finally sold him. Spider-Man, as they call Jarkel Joyner. We'll see if he can save the city again tonight. Back to you.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Thank you very much, Chris. 3-point lead here for Vancouver. Here's Brown. Tevin Brown connecting on the trifecta. And a timeout called by Dave DeBarrow in Calgary. They don't like what they're seeing right now.
Yeah, especially if you get a guy like Tevin Brown open. On the scouting report, there's got to be an asterisk beside his name. Stay attached to him. Great pass up the floor and a late closeout. That can't happen with TB.
Brown has only played a couple of games here, but he's averaged 20 points an outing. Okay, Bandits fans, bring the energy every night, and you can be part of it this season. Tickets are available by scanning the QR code or at bandits.ca/tickets. And a good crowd on hand once again at the Langley Event Center. They've seen some great basketball from this Vancouver team. And the thing that you hear with all the players, they've got some unfinished business. They thought they were going to get to the final last year, didn't materialize. And they're focused on just one thing, getting that chip.
Yeah, I think when you look at this team and you look at some of the teams in the past where, you know, that Kyle Julius has put together, right, on paper, you're arguing that they've been top 2 in terms of, like, talent season after season, year over year, right? So with some of these guys that have been returning, yeah, it's you still have that bitter taste in your mouth where, hey, we have unfinished business. We got something to get done here.
Hey, and they're without Mitch Creek. We talked about the World Cup qualifiers. He's back down under with the Australian national team, trying to help them get to the World Cup. I mean, he's only played 2 games. His points per game, 27.5. Former MVP of this league.
That's impact. That is impact.
Yes, definitely. 73-67. Brown, Parolin all over him like a cheap suit. Arms, post up, working here on Pandy, shoots over top of him, gets the roll. Only victory of the season for this Calgary team was against Brampton. It was after they started 0-7 under Perry Wong. From downtown, in and out. Patterson will take his time, brings it into the front court for Calgary. Arms trying to curl and drive, feeds Devontae Brown, and he gets hacked. Couldn't get the and one though. Parolin's gonna get tagged with a foul there. Dominic Parolin mentioned that this is his first experience in pro basketball out of Centennial Secondary School in Coquitlam. Speaking of the beautiful game, soccer, football, he was a soccer keeper at one time. That was his passion, soccer. And apparently he grew a little bit and figured out this basketball thing could work out for me. Devontae Brown to the line here. It's the second one to go. Calgary down by 3. Getting close to target time ending. Brown directing traffic, wants a screen from Parolin. Kevin Brown, Parolin. Hand off here to Joiners. 5 on the shot clock. Mid-range, missed. Brought down by Adonis Arms for Calgary. Arms to Brown. They swing it here for Carey. No-look feed for Brown. Too strong. Mulder couldn't get it. And that ball goes out. Last touch by Vancouver. And it's going to be Calgary ball. And there's the big grin on the face of Addy Patterson, who's had a strong game here for the Surge.
And Coach DeVero talked about, you know, his impact on this team thus far this season, right? Him coming in and, you know, probably didn't have much expectations early, but he's got off to a really good start, found his way as a pro. Just got to translate that to some wins now.
He's got 17 points in this game, Addy Patterson does. 73-72 Vancouver. Candy on the drive. Got it knocked out of his hands. It'll be Vancouver ball, 13 left on the shot clock. Yeah, it's a big jump. You might be playing NCAA ball. This is a man's league.
In terms of speed, physicality, you know, systems, it's not college anymore.
And that ball goes out of play. Vancouver turnover as Brown just couldn't put it in the sweet spot there for Joyner on the pass. Target time's coming up, folks. Stick around for that. And there's Adonis Arms from way downtown getting a tray.
You know, if you're Vancouver, you're a little bit concerned, right? Because Calgary really hasn't gotten any rhythm all day, right? They've had moments, you know, minute at a time or 2-3 possessions, and they've still stuck around. So if they can get themselves, you know, get hot at any point, you know, you could be in a little bit of trouble. Again, defense goes under, great flair, and unselfish, you give up the basketball, and Arms just teeing up the basketball, nice rotation on it.
First free throw missed there by Samuel. I mean, you look at this Calgary team, and on paper, they're not a 1-13 team. I mean, it's just structure.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? You get off to a slow start, and that's what happens with, you know, losing. It becomes heavy in the locker room, and then, you know, guys tend to play a little bit more selfish, thinking that they can figure it out, play hero basketball. Then you have a coaching change, right? So there's a ton of ebbs and flows, that really kind of shift the rhythm, and you aren't able to get, okay, that positive energy. Sometimes you just need a good break. One good break can swing things.
Samuel. Andy now trying to work on Patterson. Patterson get tagged with the foul there. 5:10 remaining now for Dave DeBarrow and his team. Apparently, Dave DeBarrow, talking to our friend Joe Razzo, he likes popcorn. So when he was coaching McGill, if you could bribe him with popcorn, you might be able to get some more playing time, from what I hear. Mid-range, and Joyner sticking it. 1-point lead now for Vancouver. Getting close to the target score ending. Carey. And in the corner for Kamba, they play catch. Here's Carey on the drive, stops up. Kamba trying to line it up, and he rattles down a three.
Difference maker. And I said that earlier, that he's going to be such a great help, such a great addition to this team by his way of shooting the basketball, right? Gives them another dimension, especially when they get into the paint and can get a little relief by kicking it out and somebody can get you a quality shot.
Brown now, shot clock down to 8, launches one, he comes back with a reply. We got a barn burner here in Langley, folks. 4 minutes remaining, next whistle will get the target time. 79-78 for Vancouver. Here's Carey working on Samuel. Arms has been red hot in this last little sequence here for Calgary. And Calgary go back in front. Samuel, ill-advised shot there. Here's the fast break, Patterson. He's got the easy layup.
Oh boy. They got a foul now, right? You want a foul to get yourself into target time.
Next whistle will get the target time. The whistle will go off. Well, here's Carolyn. He was hiding out in the baseline right there, Javon.
And a great job. What happened there is that Calgary didn't want to foul on a shot and then end up with Vancouver getting, 3 free throws. And they just moved the basketball so well that you get 2 under the basket. So still worked out for them.
Okay, when we come back, we're going to have target time. It is 83-81 in favor of Calgary. They've stuck around. Dom Parolin with a flush. Welcome back, and Calgary, they have come back big time. Getting some big shots from Adonis Arms right there, knocks down the 3. And then Addy Patterson, what a game he's had. He's got 19.
19 big ones, right? And, both those guys coming on hot at the right time. Just know, okay, hey, we're entering target time right now, and, these buckets matter the most.
So here we go. The target score is 92. Clock is shut off here. This is free form basketball right now. thing you got to prevent from doing is getting into that hero ball and thinking you're going to win the game by yourself. So we'll see if both these teams can be under control. Here's Patterson off the heel. Now Gibbons, he'll take his time and bring it over the timeline. Floats it down in the corner. Joyner tried to tightrope that baseline. And Adonis Arms in disagreement here. Tyrese Samuel has had a strong game here so far. He's got 14 points on the afternoon. 5 of 11 from the field. Adonis Arms hit a couple of big threes late in the fourth quarter before we got the target time. Gibbons will go to the line. And there you see the look of disgust on the face of Adonis Arms. Okay, let's send it over now to Chris. He was in the Bandits huddle.
Yeah, guys, listening into Coach Rands ahead of the start of target score time, he said defensive possessions still matter. Then Tyrese Samuel chimed in and he said we're too disorganized. We got to get more organized, and Calgary's not going to score a bucket in target score time. So let's see if his bet pays off.
Thank you very much, Chris. Here's Carey trying to push the pace. Sincere Carey. On the baseline, finds Kamba. Kamba again. Hitting a three. That's not really his thing, but he's had a couple of big threes in the fourth quarter. Little push shot there by Joyner. He can't make it, and Joyner to the line. Here's this last shot now by Kamba.
You're gonna look at how he moves on his, you get the broken play, kick out, he finds that gap, and that basketball just stays right in his shooting pocket, right up into the basket. But a great job, great awareness, and just really popping quick off his feet up into a shot.
Matthew Kamba this season is gonna play for Granada in the top tier of Spanish basketball. It is unbelievable, his career. Almost a decade now playing in Spain, and you know from playing pro in Europe, that's the place you want to be. You want to be playing pro in Spain.
And, you know, I think his game fits perfectly in Spain, right? With his physicality, right, shooting, and just the IQ, right? Just playing good basketball. You see, he doesn't really force too much. He doesn't really, you know, get out of character, but just understand what his team needs from him in certain moments.
Here's Carey. 5 on the shot clock. Carey in the paint. Good dish. Can they get the finish? No, they can't, but Brown's going to go to the line.
Carey's made 2 big plays, you know, the last 2 offensive possessions for Calgary. You can see him get into the paint here, just really keeping the basketball alive, and herky-jerky, and drops it down to Brown. Brown gonna get himself at the line here. And, you know, the possession before, right, he got into the paint as well, was working that baseline, and then a kick out to Kamba.
Transfer Brempong, his first official game as the head coach of this Vancouver team. 87-84, target score 92. Gibbons, he's had a strong game for Vancouver. Mark Gibbons. Oh, nice pick and roll. And Samuel can't finish it off. Got to the rim, couldn't put it away. Patterson, catch, release. And right there, moving in, Matthew Kamba with the tip. That's a hustle play if I ever did see one. Nobody put a body on number 10. Joyner. Stop and go. Finds Gibbons. They move it around, the extra pass. Brown, not enough mustard on that one. 5-point lead for Calgary.
Calgary's got to be careful here. Usually guys just think, okay, I got to go for the win, but no.
Oh, the block.
And I like that.
And that's going to be a foul on Samuel.
I like that, winning plays, right? And especially the one before with Kamba, right? Shot goes up by Patterson, and Kamba just flying in there, right, just with a sense of urgency, understanding, okay, target score, you need everything. Can't leave anything on the table, right? The tip in here, great for him. And then, you come down again and not settling for a three, right? It's a, a three-point game to target score. And sometimes that speeds you up mentally, and guys start jacking threes to say, hey, we got to close out this game. Well, no, you get into the paint, you get it to Brown, get it for sure two, or at least get yourself at the line, and still it's a one-possession game.
Our producer, Dan Gladman, said that was like an OG Anunoby play in the final for the Knicks. Shamar puts it up, and Gibbons couldn't put it away. 90-82, 2 points away, Calgary, from getting their second win of the season. Here's Patterson from the corner. No good. Brought down by Pandy. Brown. Joyner now spinning on Addy Patterson. Samuel now trying to cross up Brown. Lost the handle on that one, pushed ahead. Can Kamba get it? Yes, he can. Adonis Arms with the slam. And this game is done like dinner. It looked like this Calgary team was going to be left for dead on the side of the road. And Javon, they've come back, and they have got their second win of the season.
Well, you know what? They came out in the second half, and they played deliberate. They played aggressive. They did a good job, especially against Tyrese Samuel, just holding him to 15 points. I believe it was 11 that he had in that first, 11 or 12 that he had in the first half. And he's a focal point of Vancouver's offense, right? So they did a great job of just being aggressive, passing lanes, defense, the offensive rebounds. And then when you got to target time, just playing smart basketball, right? And understanding, okay, when you need a three, you need an offensive rebound, a tip in, not just settling for three, but tremendous job, and it ended with defense that translated to some offense, right? You get the poke out here, and great tap by Patterson. Kamba saving the basketball. You get it to Arms for two here. Secure two above the ring.
Adonis Arms, he went to Desert Vista High School in Phoenix, Arizona. Did not make his varsity team as a freshman, as a sophomore, as a junior. Finally made the team as a senior, and he's used that as fuel moving forward in his basketball career. Sounds like some guy that played in Chicago, Michael Jordan, who couldn't make his varsity team one time.
Some guy, right?
Okay, let's send it down to Chris Wiggins now.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, joined by a lot of Calgary Surge players. How'd you guys pull this one off? A big road win for your squad.
Yeah, man, we just stayed together, kept faith, and we know we got a great squad, and it was only a matter of time before we start pulling dubs out. So we gonna keep it, make it a habit.
Hey, you're gonna see Vancouver again later this week in a home and home. How do you do it again?
Man, we do it again. Do what we did today, man. Play our game, worry about us, and everything gonna take care of itself.
Hey, this has been a weird season for you guys. I think a lot of us didn't expect the Surge to struggle so much. How do you guys turn this around down the stretch?
Man, just stay together, keep having faith, and keep having fun with each other, enjoying playing basketball. Man, we blessed. We playing basketball, so we're just enjoying it, and we know things are looking up.
Congrats on the win. Go celebrate. All right, Peter, back to you.
Thank you very much, Chris. The Mississauga native, he had a whale of a game here. 19 points in the victory. Calgary, they get their second win. Trying to climb back in a playoff spot in the West. It will not be easy. But the way they played in the fourth quarter and in target time, they've got a chance to maybe do it. They got to string some wins together. Here's the winner in target time, Kamba. Arms. Game done.
there are precious few chances left to reach the Diamond League final. Monaco is the 10th stop on tour, and our first event is next Saturday. Plus, Canada faces Italy in Volleyball Nations League play. They're currently in position to reach the women's final. And don't forget, the ICF Canoe Sprint World Cup hits Montreal. We start the show at 1 p.m. Eastern. Don't you dare miss it. And man, it's a good thing you didn't miss this game, because this was an exciting one. Take a breath. I'm not really sure what just happened, so we're going to try to make sense of all of it for you, because Calgary gets their second win, their first win since June 17th, so they're starting July on a good foot. But it didn't look good for large stretches. 5:35 left, Calgary takes the lead, their first lead from 26 to 25. But it was all about target time for me. Let's, before we break down the game, break down the target score, because it could have actually been larger, as Calgary was trying to foul late, intentionally with a foul to give, to extend what the target score would be. It ended up being 9 for them, obviously, 11 for Vancouver. Always an exciting ending, but T, do you like the target score, making sure that the last 4 minutes are exciting basketball?
It's exciting basketball. It's basically a game of pickup in the end. And pickup games to 11, those are the best games a basketball player wants to play. So, you know, it was 11 points for them to get to, and it was 9 points for Vancouver to get to. And that end really did get the crowd going. I mean, it was tough for Vancouver, but honestly, they stayed together and showed exactly what they could do.
I think, you know, I like it, and Tamara, you can probably attest to this too, because we're sitting in this seat. We get to watch these thrilling finishes. And as a player, I think it's pretty unique watching, you know, how the game typically unfolds in target time, because there's a tendency for it to speed you up, right? And I thought at the end of the game, you know, Calgary was a little bit more poised, because oftentimes, especially when it was a 3 points to target, you know, sometimes players have a tendency, hey, just to start jacking up threes because we want to close the game. But in those moments, it's the players and the coaching staff that can slow down the moment for the players that usually come out on top. And they went to the basket, you know, ended up getting to the free throw line. I believe they made two free throws there, or it was a one-possession game. Made one free throw, still was a one-possession game. So, you know, I like it because we're in this seat, right? You know, as a player, we're probably a bit more old school where you'd want to play out regulation, but you know, target score, target time, I think it makes the game exciting, it's thrilling, and there's always a hero at the end. There's always a game-winning shot, which fans want to see. Players want those moments, right? You can only manufacture those moments so many times, but every player, if you're a player, you dream of those moments where you're getting the last second shot, where you're getting the game-winning shot. That's what you work out for. So, you know, I'm a fan because I'm in this seat right here.
Well, Vancouver, back-to-back games now with losses, struggling in target time against teams from Alberta as and a loss to Edmonton. The fascinating thing to me about Calgary is, you talk about being in this seat, evidently they waited until target time to listen to the keys to the game from you guys, because the hustle, the active hands, the defense, turning defense to offense is what we saw in target time, and we saw all game from Addy Patterson, who was outstanding. The Saga man stood up today.
Yeah, I thought he was exceptional in just being deliberate, right? And just understand, he didn't get too out of character at times. He wasn't too crazy, right? And for a guy that's, you know, just going from college and adjusting to this game, I thought it was big time for him. You see this here, showing him his skill, where you get a little pocket pass to Brown. He showed you the extension to the three-point line as well. But he just did a bit of everything. And even here, getting into the paint, using his body, being physical. I thought he had really good awareness on the game. He had a really good feel and pulse, and he played off of his teammates as well, right? He didn't just play, you know, isolation. He didn't just play, you know, me ball or get me the rock and I'll figure it out. But just even the shots that he made from the perimeter, did a good job of, you know, creating space by moving and getting into the pockets where, you know, the guards can pass and give him, you know, passes on, you know, right into a shooting pocket. So big time job by him. And then again, in target time, he delivered.
So if you're just joining us pregame, we talked about Ruggsy Miller-Moore and his nickname, because he was a rug rat as a kid. And he didn't have his best shooting night tonight, but every Jamaican family, we have a couple of nicknames. We have a sergeant, we have a captain, we have a junior, right? We're basically like an army base. Well, he was the sergeant and the captain tonight, showed great leadership. He is standing by with our Chris Wiggins.
All right, standing with Ruggsy Miller-Moore. Again, weird season for you guys, just a second win for your group. How did you guys come together and get it done tonight?
Just kind of staying the course, you know, doing what we do in practice. You know, some guys stepped up today, so I'm glad we got the win for sure.
This Western Conference is getting a little busier, and I think you guys could go on a bit of a run yourselves. How do you pull that off?
Yeah, I'm confident as well. You know, if it can happen, then like if it's possible, we can make it happen. So just ready for the next game.
How's this season been for you? I know you're climbing the ranks with some milestones, top Canadian scorer in CEBL history. What's this all been like for you?
Like we said before the game, like it's a pretty good accomplishment for sure, but I wish we were winning games, so it feels more fulfilling. But I'm happy that I'm making my mark in this league and just trying to adjust. You know, new coaches, new players all the time, just trying to adjust and do what I can.
Appreciate the time. Travel safely. Congrats.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Such an exciting player with an exciting future ahead of him. Speaking of future, we're going to preview what's coming up in terms of CEBL games on the network. We're also going to give you a little bit of bonus coverage between Brampton and Scarborough, the top two teams in the East. But let's stay right here with the West. We talked about Addy Patterson. For those who don't know, he was one of the most heavily recruited players coming out of this country. But I love this league for some of the guys who had to take a different path, especially as Canadians. Lloyd Pandy is one of those guys, and if we were borrowing the World Cup, he may have been the man of the match in a loss. What stuck out to you, T, about his game?
You know, even though Vancouver lost the game, Calgary really kept it close, and they came out victorious in the end. But Lloyd Pandy, he was their hero, and he was the one that really kept them going in the first half. He did a lot of the first half heavy lifting, showed how versatile he was, got to the basket, knocking down threes in the open. Coast to coast here, doing what he can, rebounding the ball and getting coast to coast. But he was playing both sides of the court. Offensively, defensively, showing just how elite he is on defense and helping out Vancouver. But they didn't come out victorious. But I would say seeing this talent, seeing what he did to lead this team, shows what he can continue to do for the rest of the season for them.
I think he kind of reminds me of how you played.
I was going to say, right?
That rugged play where he just did a bit of everything. But no, he's a really good player. And I think, you know, what I really appreciate about him is he's a selfless guy. He doesn't have to score. He can score, right? But he's not afraid to get in there, mix it up, throw his elbows around, get his nose dirty. You know, unfortunately, didn't come out with the victory here today. But I do think he fits that Vancouver Bandit pedigree, that fabric, so to say, which, you know, Kyle Julius, he, built that culture there. And obviously, Rance Brempong is in that position now where he's going to, kind of have to build on that, grow on that, and mold on that. And I think, right now, you come off a loss, and for Rance, you're in the seat now. It's going to get a little bit difficult, right? Because the locker room kind of gets a little distorted a bit or a little dysfunctional where guys are saying, hey, Kyle, Julius is my guy. And, Rance was, the coach before that was kind of massaging everything for everybody. But, this is a great challenge for him. I think guys like Pandy are going to be a big asset, a big help as well, because he has experience and he can also help in that locker room while, Rance is, figuring out, some of his systems, some of the things that he wants to get in place as well. But, both those guys and for the rest of the team, they have a tremendous amount of talent. You talk about Devin Brown, Tyrese Samuels, all these guys. There's a lot of talent there, but it's going to be a little different now with, Rance at the helm. Different challenges.
Remember, this loss will sting. This is a rivalry game at home. Kyle Julius said earlier in the year, we don't like these guys. Well, you just took an L to them. You talk about some of those adjectives that T has in her game that we saw. Matthew Comba is someone who plays in a very similar fashion. He is standing by with our Chris Wiggins.
With Matthew Comba, a well-rounded effort from your team today. Talk about the group, everybody pitching in.
I think it's just sacrifice at this point. Obviously we've had a tough season. Everybody knows that, but I feel like now we have a group of guys that want to win. And like, if you got to sit on the bench a little bit longer for somebody else to shine, I think some people understand that. And I feel like if it's a problem, the coach is going to handle that. Because right now we're in win mode, so that's just what it is. Like everybody has an ego. We're all basketball players. We have pride. And at the end of the day, we work hard enough to be on the court and to try to win games like this, especially a nice crowd like this, so felt great, felt really good.
Big road win against top of the West. How much confidence does this give your group?
I think it gives us a lot of confidence. Obviously, we're going home to the Saddle Dome during Calgary Stampede, one of the most prestigious events for the city. And I just feel like this is a good momentum or a good stepping stone to kind of like see where we're at this point of the season and see if we can like make a run. It's going to be difficult, but I think every single game or at least the last 5 games, we've been really, really competitive. So I feel like this group has what it takes to go on a little run. And if it doesn't, then at least every single game is going to be competitive going forward.
Hey, tough to beat the same team back-to-back games. You're going to see Vancouver again later this week. How do you do it again?
You just play hard. I mean, they're going to come out and be mad that we beat them at the crib. So we're going to have to bring our A game. They're going to bring their A game, and it's going to be a war. So whoever just plays the hardest is going to come out on top.
Appreciate the wit. Appreciate the time. Congratulations.
From top of the West to top of the East we go. Some bonus coverage. Scarborough and Brampton. From Brampton, the CA Center. Matt Bonamy and Orrin Weisfeld have the call. Enjoy.